Basically, musical teachers, can you believe that it's already almost the end of the year in our music classrooms? I know for some of us that we end in May and some of us that we end in June, which if you are a June person, just keep going. You can make it. But it's already almost the end of the year, which means testing season, concerts, award shows, field trips, field days, all of those sorts of crazy and exciting things that are happening at school. It also means that your students are probably going to be much more wilder than they normally would. So as such, your lessons really need to accommodate that. It's time to have fun, let loose, and not be quite as structured with presenting or introducing new concepts towards the end of the year. I usually take a lot of time to review and just have fun and make music with my students. End of the year lessons need to be really easy. They need to be no thought, involve lots of movement, no prep, very simple, easy, and quick to do for your sake and for theirs. You don't want to make it any harder on yourself, which is why in today's video we are going to be talking all about simple end of the year lessons that you can do with grades K through 2, and then next week we're going to talk through 3 through 5. And I have a couple end of the year videos coming your way. So let's dive into the different activities that you can do for the end of the year with K through 2 in your music classroom. Before we do that, if you don't know me, my name's Rainey Barden and I teach elementary music and middle school theater. I've been teaching for about 7 years now. I made this channel to help other music teachers instill a love and appreciation of music into the heart of every child. And we do that through strategies, lessons, tips and tricks, all different sorts of ideas. So if you're interested in that, please like and subscribe down below. It really will help my channel grow and reach more of the music teacher masses. With that, let's dive in. I do have my list right here and I'm gonna try and speed through it because I have a lot of stuff on here. I will link everything about all these activities underneath this video. So if you're like, oh, where can I find it? It's underneath this video. And that's the only time I'm going to say that. At least that's the only time I say I'm going to say that. But I'm a repeat talker. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's start with movement activities and singing games. Because like I said, your students are going to be sitting a lot doing testing and all sorts of other wild stuff that they don't want to be doing. So when they come to your classroom, they want a little bit of a reprieve. And so movement is a quick and easy way to get them up and going and excited to be in your music room. And so I have a couple of favorites and I'm just going to talk through them. I will give the notation like I said down below. But we have walk and stop. That one is super simple. You literally just play. You can play it on your ukulele. You can play it on the piano. You can even just sing it. They literally walk and when you say stop, they stop. And you can change the locomotor movement. So the song goes like this. Well, you walk and you walk and you walk and you stop. And you walk and you walk and you walk and you stop. And that's literally like the entire song. So then you could go and you skip and you skip and you skip and you stop. So they have a super fun time with that. I do that with K through 2 and they love it so very much. Another one that's on the same lines as that is A-Rig-A-Jig-Jig, which that one is super fun. They get to the first part, they're walking down the street pretending to wave hello to their neighbor. And then on Rig-A-Jig-Jig, they get to skip around the room as fast as they can. So that song goes like this. As I was walking down the street, down the street, down the street, a friend you know I chanced to meet. Hi-ho, hi-ho, hi-ho. A rig-a-jig-jig and away we go, away we go, away we go. Rig-a-jig-jig and away we go. Hi-ho, hi-ho, hi-ho. And so I always change that. You could say as I was leaping down the street, as I was hopping down the street, as I was flying down the street, whatever you want to make it. So those are both easy, quick, locomotor movement ones that you can do in your classroom. We also have the bunny game, and I've talked about this one before. I will link a better video down below that shows the whole process in general, but you basically make up a story about bunnies using high and low on the piano. And so you'll say stuff like they like to hop around, and you play this little hopping around song. When they wiggle their noses, you play up high on the keyboard. When they wiggle their tails, you play low on the keyboard. And you just play along with whatever the story is. But like I said, there's a much more in-depth Dull Crows version of this with a video link down below that I will link so that you can see it in action. But my kids ask for this activity all the time. Then we have just good old-fashioned freeze dance. I'm just saying, freeze dance can go a long way. And you can either just do the standard free dance where you put a song on, or Scratch Garden has a lot of really awesome pre-made freeze dance songs that my kids absolutely love. There's like 5 or 6 of them at that point. You get a 5-minute reprieve or something like that. So definitely do that. Okay, the next one is We Are Dancing in the Forest, which I've talked about this one before, but I'll say it one more time. The song goes like this. We are dancing in the forest while the wolf is far away. Who knows what will happen to us if he finds us at our play. So the song, and there's a wolf are you there part, but I don't really use it anymore in my classroom because of the way that I learned how to play this game. It's like sharks and minnows. You have one wolf that's on a line. He can only walk sideways. And all the kids are on the other side of the room. When the song is over, they try to run across to the other side of the room, and the wolf tries to tag people. If he tags people, another wolf happens, and they have multiple wolves until it gets to the point where there's too many wolves and the kids won't be able to get through to the other side. But you have to make sure that the wolves don't like run off the line, because if they tag a kid off the line, then you have to be like, oh, you didn't actually get that. And it turns into a whole debacle. So that game is super fun. I'll link to the song notation under here, but that one's always a great time as well. We also have the game Naughty Kitty Cat, which this one I use to review Law and also Quarter Rest. And that one just goes like this. Naughty kitty cat, meow, you are very fat. Meow, you have butter on your whiskers. Naughty kitty cat, meow. And so the meow parts are like the rests. And so the kids are all in a circle. We have one person walking around the outside of the circle, and like they are the cat that like ate the butter, and they think they're going to get away from their owner. And then you have one kid in the circle that's sitting. Everybody's sitting. That is the owner, and you tap them secretly so that the cat doesn't know. And so the cat's walking around, and at the end of the song on Naughty Kitty Cat, the owner stands up, and wherever they are, they chase the cat around the circle, and the cat's goal is to get back to the owner's spot before the owner does. And sometimes it works out that the cat's on the other right side of the circle, and they don't have to worry about it. Sometimes it works out the cat is standing literally right next to the owner, and they're probably going to get caught. And so it's kind of like a fun Duck Duck Goose-ish type of game, but the kids absolutely love that. If you wanted to add instruments to it, I typically will have the kids play the Naughty Kitty Cat on the bars, and then like they have a cymbal or like a triangle or something for the rest, just so they know what fills up that space and they don't add music to fill up that space. But that is a super fun one you can use as well. Then we also have Doggie Doggie, which obviously we use that one for solo singing, also for Law, and that one literally goes, Doggie Doggie, where's your bone? Somebody stole it from your home. And then the one kid that's sitting in the middle, the one kid that's pretending to be the dog that lost their bone is standing outside the circle with their eyes closed, and they say, who stole my bone? And then whoever you picked in the middle that has the bone in the circle sings, I stole your bone. And then the dog person turns around, and I give them 2 guesses to figure out whose voice they heard. They're not allowed to use a silly voice until everybody is gone, because the point of this is for me to hear that they can solo sing and match pitch. This one is fun, and you have to make sure that you let everybody have a turn, if not on the same day, in the next class, because they will remember, and they will be very salty that you did not let them have a turn, as I have discovered. We also have Bee Bumblebee. That's a fun one. The kids are all sitting in a circle. I have a bee puppet. I start by tapping them all on the head for the steady beat, singing Bee Bumblebee, stung a man up on his knee, stung a pig up on his snout. I declare that you are out. Buzz, buzz, buzz. And whoever gets tapped on the buzzes is out. And so what I let them do is rejoin the circle with a pair of rhythm sticks, and they help keep the steady beat for me for the next round while we sing Bee Bumblebee until you get to the end where there's only one winner. And if the winner, the next time we play that game, gets to be the one that holds the bee puppet and gets to do the steady beat around the circle. And so that's also a great assessment for me to check whether or not they can actually keep a steady beat, which most of them can, surprisingly. It's pretty good. But yeah, so that's another fun one. And then my last one in the movement activities section is Green Snake. It's actually called Black Snake, but I have a giant green snake in my classroom, so we call it Green Snake. And literally all the game is one student gets to go hide the snake anywhere in the classroom, but they have to make sure that either part of the tail or the tongue is sticking out. One person gets to close their eyes and stand on the other side of the room and be the one that's going to look for the snake. And I always have one person go and make sure they're not peeking, because they love that sort of thing. And so it's literally a hot potato type of game where you sing loudly if the kid is near the green snake, and you sing softly if they're far away from the snake. And some kids do not understand how that game works, because they'll be singing loudly and they walk away from there. I don't understand. But the song goes like this. Green snake, where are you hiding? Green snake, where are you hiding? Green snake, where are you hiding? Don't you bite me. And so that is the song, and you just keep singing that over and over and over and over again until they find it, and then you switch and you rotate, all that beautiful and magical stuff. So those are all movement activities or singing games that you could do. The next sort of things that you could be doing for the end of the year is movement manipulatives. And so that would be things like parachute, stretchy bands, scarves, and ribbon streamers. An amazing book for you to utilize and pull from is Artie Almeida's Ribbons, Parachute, Scarves book. I'll pop a picture of it up here. I'm sure you've seen it. And if you haven't seen it, you need to have it in your classroom. I use it all the time. There are some really great ones. Like there's William Tell ones in there. There's one for a parachute for William Tell that I use for form. There's one for unpitched percussion in there for William Tell. There's a Star Wars one. There's this Wild Horseman one that involves them riding around on fake little ponies. It's so super cute. Literally, I use that book all the time in my classroom. And it has a couple stretchy band ones too, which I haven't really used the stretchy band as much in my classroom, but I have found it to be useful. It has scarf activities like for the, what was it? I just did it. Oh, Syncopated Clock by Leroy Anderson. That is a super fun one to do with your kids. And it has ribbon streamer ones. I did one called Gallop by the Comedians in there. I used that book for a lot of my spring show that we just did. I used a lot from that book. So, this is the perfect time to bring all that stuff out because they have all this energy anyway. Might as well utilize it. Use your parachute. Use your stretchy band. Use your scarves. Use your ribbon streamers. If you can't fit your parachute in your classroom, make it a game day outside and go do it outside. Seriously, they'll love you forever. The next thing that you could do for the end of the year is play along videos. That includes rhythm play-alongs, body percussion play-alongs, and boom whackers. This is the perfect time to use all that stuff in your classroom. There are hundreds of videos out there for rhythm play-alongs and body percussion play-alongs, and there's boom whackers for Musication. I will link a couple of my favorite websites or YouTube channels down below that I pull from all the time. But it depends on what you're wanting to do. If you're wanting to do rhythm review, do a rhythm play-along. If you're wanting to get them moving, do a body percussion play-along. If you want to add some instruments, do a boom whacker one. There's even a couple Orff instrument ones that aren't too crazy. There's probably recorder ones out there too if you want to go that route with recorder. Do whatever you need to do, but there's always one to review any type of rhythm that you possibly need. There's probably even melodic ones if you want to go that route as well. Like I said, I'll link some of my favorite play-along websites down below. Definitely use them this time of year. They have been a hit in my classroom. Another thing that you can do at the end of the year is folk dances. And you can either review ones from the year that you've done throughout, or you can introduce new ones just for fun, new and simple ones, not anything crazy. If you're like, I don't even know how to start using folk dances in my classroom, then you're definitely going to want to check out my video from about 2 or 3 weeks ago, where I talk about all the things that you need to consider before introducing folk dance into your classroom. And so I will link that down below. And then also, you're going to want to just look into a couple of different folk dance resources. I'm not going to post all of that under here. Seriously, just go look at that video and I give you literally everything under the sun that you could possibly need for that. So keep that in mind. And go do some folk dances. My kids love them. A favorite one is Sasha. I'm sure everybody knows Sasha at this point. If you don't, you can look it up on YouTube. But go do easy folk dances. Make them move around with you. Okay, we're on to our last couple things that you can do for the end of the year in your music room. Other ones you can do are review games, either rhythmic or melodic. A couple of my favorite include Captain's Coming, which I have an entire video for. I will link for underneath here. The Ships and Sailors game, but add rhythms to it. So if you've ever played that game in summer camp, you probably know what I'm talking about. But like I said, I'm not going to waste time talking about it. I have a whole entire video devoted to it. I will link to the products down below if you just want to check it out because I have an entire thing for that. I also have a freebie for this. I'll link to all the Captain's Coming stuff down below. Asteroid is another fun one. That is from Becca's Music Room. I use that all the time. I will link to her product down below. But basically what you do is the kids stand on a specific spot within the room, you play a rhythm, they walk the beat, they move their feet to that rhythm. So if you clap ta, ta, ti, ti, ta, they move ta, ta, ti, ti, ta. When you shout Asteroid, they have to run back to their dot, and if they're the last one there, then they've been wiped out by the asteroid and they have to sit down. Kids absolutely love that one. That is another fun, easy one to do. And then also Four Corners. And I found a forte piano one on TPT, and I will link to that below because my kids love that in kindergarten. And basically they have to pick a side of the room and then a song comes on. And if it's forte and they're on the forte side, they're out. If it's piano and they're on the piano side, they're out. Quick, easy review for that. You could also do it for Soul Me. You could do it for rhythms. There are many different Four Corners activities already out there on TPT. If you just search for them, you will find them. But Four Corners is a simple, easy one that the kids absolutely love. It takes them a while to get adjusted to it though, because it's not like your typical Four Corners where you just call out a corner. It's like they pick a corner first and then they have to, anyway, it's just not, it's very, they're confused by that part. But it's super fun. So those are just a couple of rhythmic or melodic games. I'm pretty sure I have other YouTube videos on that as well, of other games you could do for this sort of thing. So I will link to all those videos down below. But these are just a couple tried and true ones you can use for the end of the year. You could also do virtual music field trips at the end of the year, because most of those typically take at least one class period to complete. Music and Motivate has a fun super summer camp one that my students love. I actually just did it with my kids the last week before I left for maternity leave unexpectedly. So I will link to that one down below. I have an Easter spring one that would be perfect for this time of year with like your first and second graders. And it has like movement and instruments and singing and dancing and all that fun stuff. So I will link to that music virtual field trip under here, as well as some other ones. I have a Charlie and the Chocolate Factory themed one. I have a couple different ones. But virtual music field trips are always a great idea to use in your classroom, because they typically take up the whole class period, or at least a good chunk of it, and they let you do different activities. Like most will have like an instrument activity, a singing activity, a game, a dance one, a movement one of some sort. And so it's a great way to have them experiencing all the different types of musical activities in your classroom without you having to do much prep at all. And then the last thing you can do at the end of the year is give students a free choice day. Allow them to choose from activities that you have done throughout the year, or activities that they suggest. You can suggest a couple of your own. I always have a couple in my head that I'm going to put on the board, but typically my students have their tried and true favorites. And so when I ask for a free choice day, they all raise their hand. And then once a kid has said an activity, I write it on the board and say, you can't say that one anymore. We're just going to vote on them for later, because otherwise like kids will keep saying the same thing. And I'm like, I've already got that. And so then I let them vote, and then we just do whichever 2 or 3 got the most votes, and we just go on from there. And then they're excited because they got to choose what they're doing. But really you got to choose, because they're all the things that you're doing in your class, ideally you're doing with like a musical purpose behind it and not just for fun. I mean, some things can be just for fun, but student choice day, baby. Give it to them, especially at the end of the year. Now, there are tons of other activities that you could probably do, but this should be more than enough to get you started, especially with K through 2. Remember to just make it really easy on yourself and just allow your students to experience music in ways that maybe you didn't have as much time for throughout the year. Maybe you've always wanted to use the parachute, but you just didn't have time. Or maybe you've always wanted to give them a free choice day, but you just didn't feel like you could. Or maybe you wanted to do a virtual music field trip, and you didn't know when to put it in. This is the time to do all of those things. This is not the time to introduce brand new concepts right at the end of the year, because trust me, they're going to forget them if they didn't get enough practice before the school year is over, as I have learned. So I hope this was really helpful for you. Like I said, next week we are going to be talking all about 3 through 5 and end of the year activities for them. Put in the comments down below any of these that you've already tried before, or other ideas so that other music teachers can get other ideas, because I am not the only one with a fountain of ideas. And with that, I will also say though, if you are watching this on the day that it came out, then the TPT sale has not happened yet. If you are watching this the day after, May 9th and 10th of 2023, there is a huge TPT site-wide sale on Tuesday and Wednesday, which is tomorrow if you're watching this video in real time. All of my store and all of many other stores will be up to 20% off of their normal prices. And so if you see any of the stuff in this video and you're like, oh my gosh, I really want that, put it on your wish list and buy it tomorrow or Wednesday. Unless you're watching this way in the future. Sorry, friends, you can't buy it for sale. But I just figured I'd post that down below. So check out the sale. It's going to be really, really awesome. And with that, I'll see you guys in a video next week. Bye.